Hello everyone and welcome back to the beautiful Scottish Highlands. My turn to take over once again for this final leg of this Ambassadors journey from Penzance all the way up through England, through Scotland, all the way to Inverness, and that's what I'm going to do. So the last video you will have watched ended in Mallaig, so our passengers have taken a combination of road travel and ferry to get to the Kyle of Lochalsh, and from the Kyle of Lochalsh we're going to go all the way to Inverness. And not only that, we're going to do it in a wonderful 37. So I just thought I'd show you this scene just to set the scene before we started. But we are at the Kyle of Lochalsh, and I'll just fly in now just to show you the train for today for this final leg. Here it is. You know it's going to be a 37. It is, full disclosure, it is the AP 37 as well. And this one is 37114, the Dunrobin Castle. And there it is, looking quite beautiful, ready to leave Kyle of Lochalsh. So we're going to set up and get ready to go. This is a scenario from 1986. It is one of the standard scenarios, and it's been copied and altered a little bit, and the stock swapped out. We've also, again, full disclosure, we've got the AP Sky Pack in as well, which is why the sky is looking particularly excellent. So, without further ado, we'll talk as we go, because this is a long route. The Kyle route is quite a long route, and I'm probably going to do this in two sections. We'll go to Achnasheen, I think, which is about halfway in part one. And then we'll be back in the next video for part two. It's about 3 hours the whole way through, which is why I want to do it in two halves. So let's take it off pause. Let's put the hood back on. First of all, let's do this. And then we'll have the master key, reverser to forwards, headlights. Then we've got the route indicators, tail lights can go off. Instrument lights we will have, and of course we want to listen to the magnificent 37 on our way down. Good morning driver, please depart at 7:10. We have the token for the section to Strathcarron. Dernish, I hope I pronounced these right. Sorry to any of you in Scotland who, if I pronounce these terribly, you know my reputation. Dernish is a request stop at 7:20. A message will appear if you are to stop. So we've got some request stops as well, which is quite good, isn't it? The NRN, I don't think there's a board for the NRN up here, so I can't set that. If that changes, then we will do so along the trip. But the other thing we need to do is make sure that the clag is at 10. So let's... oh, I don't want to take a picture. Wrong button. That's what we want. Let's get that to number 10, because I know you all like a bit of clag. You like clag and you like horn as well. So, whilst we're waiting, there we go. So, get your drinks ready, get your snacks ready. This is going to be a long one in two parts. Just enjoy the scenery as we make our way to Inverness. This has been a fun trip, which we'll talk some more about as we go. But it's my privilege to be able to end the trip in Inverness after some fine videos along the way. Big shout out to all my fellow ambassadors for putting their stuff together. And we didn't need to pick up the passengers, we were just waiting for 7:10 to come round. So let's do it. We'll take the brakes off first of all, and then we'll pop outside as we depart the Kyle of Lochalsh. Look at that beautiful, unenvironmental friendly smoke coming out the top of the 37. It's the only time that we permit such pollution. It's a great effect, that. A great smoke effect. Right, we've got a 15 coming out of the Kyle of Lochalsh. So once we get up to this 30, we'll have a quick look through the schedule. This is one of the standard scenarios that comes with the route. Just been copied and modified just to change the stock. And add the AP stuff in. But it's a long one, as I mentioned. And the main thing is, just enjoy it. Just enjoy this leg. This is the final leg. We can all take a deep breath. Well, I can't, because I've got to get us to Inverness and I've got to obey the speed limits and all the rest of it and get us there in one piece, but you guys can just enjoy it. And hopefully you will enjoy it. So don't forget, give me a thumbs up if you don't mind. And I'll be much appreciative. Because the last one I did was the Carlisle to Glasgow, the sleeper service, if you remember, and that was a faster one. This first section of this line, we are doing much smaller speeds, very low speeds, up to about 40, 45. Once we get to Achnasheen, then we get to do speeds of up to, I think, 60 or 65. So it does get faster in the second half towards Inverness. It's a route, this one actually doesn't get streamed very often. At least when I'm looking around YouTube, sometimes I'll sit at night and think, oh, I'll watch some TS Classic, you know, maybe a route that I don't own or something like that. I'm looking around and I don't really see the Highland routes very much. Now that could be due to just the length, the sheer length. I think this is 80 odd miles, this one. So there's a mean bit of track that you get with it. It's a Just Trains route, by the way, in case you're wondering. It's been out for a while. But it is long, so it's a good one for a live stream. Now, I'm going to try and talk as much as possible through both parts of this. But if I'm quiet for a while, then you know why. I might be astounded by the scenery, actually, because it is very nice in places. Especially with the sky pack in, it just brightens up the whole route as well. So, alright, we can do 30 in this section. So, we'll have a look at the schedule. Again, you know, if I mispronounce anything, you know, I apologise for that. We are going to stop at... See, we shouldn't check the schedule, because some of these are request stops, and it actually tells us where we're actually going to stop. So it's kind of cheating, really. First thing to say, it says at the top 37112. That's in the original scenario. We are in 37114, of course. Set in June 1986. It's a full run from the Kyle Of Lochalsh all the way to Inverness. That's fine. And we are stopping at Dernish, Plockton, Stromferry, and then we've got a couple of go vias, which is Atterdale West and Atterdale. Then we're going to pick up passengers at Strathcarron, and then Achnasheen, which is where we will break this video off into two parts. Then we'll be back and we'll be going to Garve. Is it Garve or Garvey? Then Dingwall, the Muir of Ord, and then finally Inverness. And we're due in at Inverness at 09:59. So you can see what kind of a length of route and time we need to complete this, what that is. So we did have a debate about this part of the route, because we ended in Mallaig, and of course you can't just hop off the train at Mallaig and then get on at the Kyle Of Lochalsh. You've got to actually do some travelling, not by train. We wondered whether or not to put this section in between us. That was me and British Ace were discussing this, and we thought that why not? Let's just do it. Let's just add it. It's the furthest north that we can get in the train sims, so we'll put it in. And Inverness is a familiar place to many people. I've been there a few times myself, and so, you know, I volunteered to do it. I forgot quite how long the route was when I volunteered. I soon found out, but I don't mind, because I get to drive this wonderful 37. I mean, look at this. What's better than that? Now, some of you are all shouting out what you think is better than this. But what is better than this? This is great, this. Absolutely love it. I love to travel this in real life. I don't suppose the 37s are on this now. Is it a DMU? It's maybe a DMU now. But imagine this in these 37s. I'd love that. So, Go Via is the first objective that we're aiming for. I had a practice run of this scenario just to make sure it was working over the past week, and I took some excellent screenshots, a couple of which that you'll see as the thumbnails, no doubt. And I was just blown away that even though it's a really long route, it didn't seem to take as long as that end to end. I think because I was enjoying it so much, it's not a chore to drive this route. Now, some players won't like really long routes. It doesn't bother me. You know, I like a long run. I prefer a long run at speed. Don't get me wrong. But in such an iconic locomotive, it's a pleasure. It's an absolute pleasure. And as you can see from the hood at the bottom, it's quite hilly, as you would expect for the Highlands. There's a lot of up and down. It's undulating the whole way through. You have to be really on and off the throttle quite a lot, especially in this first section. And I want to keep going outside because I want to show you the clag and all the rest of the good stuff. And for you to listen to the 37 just in general. And the first Go Via is coming up. And we already know from cheating and looking at the schedule that we're going to be stopping at the station as well. So we'll get ready for that. This is a standard scenario, by the way. There's no points involved in this. So if we run late, we run late. It doesn't matter. We won't get penalised. It's all about the enjoyment. And it's mainly all about completing the trip and getting to Inverness. It's been some journey, this, hasn't it? I hope you've all enjoyed it, by the way. We started on Friday night. And we've had most of Saturday. And quite a chunk of Sunday as well. I'll be pleased to know, as I've mentioned in the other videos, now that you will have, well, by the end of this, you will have seen all of the legs that we did. It'd be nice to know which ones you enjoyed the most and why. That'd be interesting to know. Oh, you can see the drop off here, look. Just before we get to the station. Straight down. Station is in about a quarter of a mile. You can just see the platform ahead, actually. Please stop at Durnish. So we're going to stop. We knew that. We knew that. It's a long schedule, so if I don't look at it too much, I'll forget where the other request stops are, so that's fine. The other thing we need to worry about is, of course, getting in the platforms, because some of these platforms actually are fairly short, as you will see. So we need to get as much of the train as possible into the platforms. Set the brakes off, then we don't come to a complete halt. In fact, I overdid it a little bit, so we'll just pump the throttle just slightly. We'll just take the loco just beyond the edge of the platform. We'll probably do that in most cases. There are a few longer platforms on the route, but we don't want to block that crossing in case anyone runs for the train. Open the doors. There we go. A couple of people getting on and off. How do you do a request stop? If how do you know to stop? If nobody's getting off but people want to get on, does the driver in these Highland routes, does the driver just spot people? Or is the guide looking out at the back somewhere and then radios the driver and tells him to stop? I'm not sure. Not sure how that works. Right away, driver. Next stop, Plockton, 7:24. So, it's good fun, this. It's good fun. Love it. Just wake those people up there in that caravan. 7:20 in the morning. They should be up on a beautiful day like this anyway. I'm not having it. You go on your holidays to Scotland and stay somewhere as nice as this and stay in bed. You don't do that, do you? Right, let's pop back in. So Plockton in 1.3 miles. I will switch this on. I'll be honest with you, I don't know if this existed in 1986. I honestly don't know. I really don't know. But if we see a board, I'm sure we do see a board, so it must have existed. About halfway down we see a board, I'm sure. I will put the code in. I don't know what the code is coming out of the Kyle Of Lochalsh. But not to worry. We'll just go on the information we see, shall we, I think. Going into a downhill section. It's a great livery, this, the large logo livery. With the, look at the sort of plough for the snow at the front there. To shift the snow out of the way. And I imagine if we're playing this in winter, there would be a bit of that to do as well. I wonder how much it costs for a ticket to go end to end. I said that about the sleeper service, didn't I? I said in the Carlisle to Glasgow, I wondered how much it would cost. This is one of these routes where in real life you travel it to say you've been on it. You don't travel to really go somewhere. You just want to go on it. It just has that feel about it. I mean, this would be, I imagine, pretty much the only way to experience a lot of this scenery by doing this. There's no other way you could see some of this scenery. There doesn't seem to be many roads nearby throughout. We do come across some habitation, as we saw just then. But we do go off into the wild a little bit. And we got Plockton coming up. Due in at 7:24. Scheduled 7:24, so we're going to be there currently 7:25 and 39. So we're already slightly late, but it's fine. And once again, let's make sure we get in the platform with this one. As best we can, anyway. There's a couple of people waiting to get on, which is quite nice. Welcome to Plockton. Now it wants us to stop here already, so let's just pop under here. We're getting bombed by the The bush is there, so we can't really see what's going on, but I think we might just be slightly stuck out the back. I probably should have drawn forward a little bit more, but it's fine. They can all get on and walk down if they want to. Right away, mate. Hang on, he's not Scottish. He sounds like he's from Lancashire. Next stop, Stromferry. Unless you get a message telling you to stop at Duncraig, you're due at Stromferry 7:37. Okay, so let's try to keep to time if we can. Bit too much acceleration there, I think. That's it. We do not want to break the thing down right out here. Just under 5 miles to Stromferry, or Stromferry. Apologies for the mouse, I'll keep moving it out of the way if I remember. Put it down the bottom corner. It's what I love about TS Classic and TSW. When I just look round at the scenery, you can instantly transport. It's like a lot of simulators though, to be fair. Just transport yourself to another place via your PC or your console, depending which game you're playing. It's a great thing, really. And I've said it a couple of times throughout this journey as well, but TS Classic actually, for a 15-year-old game, looks quite well, I think. TSW has got more, you know, a bit more spit and polish. But they both games have got bits and pieces the others don't have. This one for me, TS Classic, is about long routes. There's a lot of long hops that I can do in TS Classic that I really enjoy. This is one of them. This is definitely one of them. The run that we did from Carlisle to Glasgow, I really enjoyed that. That was a blast, that one. So I hope you really enjoyed that one. If you haven't seen it, do go back and watch it. And go back and watch all the legs, actually. You don't necessarily need to watch them in order, but you know, it kind of tells a story if you do, and you can follow the journey. But yeah, TS Classic, lots of long journeys. It's been going 15 years. There's a lot of variety. There's a lot of content for TS Classic. TSW is catching up. It's not far behind. Look how many releases we get for TSW now, with third parties being involved, and we seem to, you know, what are we now? We're into March. How many releases have we had so far? Is it 4 or 5? I can't even recall. We've had quite a few, haven't we? And Cardiff, at the time of recording this, Cardiff's coming up. Everyone's excited about that. Malmö Line has just come out in the last week. Just Trains, who made this route, will be bringing the Class 86 to the Preston Carlisle route. Of course, in an earlier leg, I drove the TS Classic 86 from Stafford to Preston. That was also a good run. I enjoyed all of them. I keep saying I enjoyed that run, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed all of them, and I enjoy watching everybody else's as well. But yeah, the 86, I think a lot of you will like the 86 being in TSW as well. So there is a lot of content as well coming to TSW. Personally, the only thing that TSW doesn't have for me is those longer routes. And I think they are getting longer. If you look at the Preston to Carlisle one, at over 100 miles, That's a decent run. So, more of those, please. That's what we want. That's what I want. But if you're fortunate enough to own a PC, you can also get this as well. And the good thing is with this TS Classic, there's regular sales. So you can pick a lot of the stuff up in the sales several times a year. So there's a lot of content, and hopefully it's not too bad on the wallet. But he says, having spent an absolute fortune, but I built it up over the years. The couple of years I've been playing it. Right, how are we doing on time? We're due in a minute later than booked, so I'm going to try to get up to the 30. This scenery's stunning, isn't it? If I can get out of the trees. Just the water, the reflections of the water and everything, with the trees reflecting there. In various places on the route as well, when you're going over bridges. The 37, of course, will reflect onto the water as well, which can, you know, you can get some really nice screen captures of that. You're spoilt for choice, really, on these routes. As far as would I recommend this route, absolutely. If this is your type of thing, then yeah, you can also supplement it as well with the player-created scenarios, which is always worth doing. This one does come with some. I don't know if the career scenarios or whether standard scenarios, but there's several scenarios. There's several that break this journey up into smaller sections. And they also teach you a little bit about the history of the route as well as you're going along. So from a historical perspective, you can learn all about the line, which I've done those as well. Those are in the 37 that comes with it. I did those right at the beginning when I picked up the route. But very useful. But there are quite a few scenarios knocking about that you can also add to, especially if you've got some of the AP stuff like I've got as well, just to give it that added bonus. But I would say, yeah, add this to your collection, especially in the sale. I think you will enjoy it. Couple of miles to go to our next stop. And the route is pretty flat just at the moment. You can hear the 37's engines coming up there as I accelerate. It's colourful too. Look at the colours of the bushes and the trackside foliage, and just lovely to look at. It's part of the reason I wanted to cover this one. Not played it for a while. Knew it was a good route. Had a feeling you guys would enjoy it. Obviously, I'll know once you give me the feedback. And plus, it's you know, as I said at the beginning, it's quite an honour for me to be able to finish the journey in Inverness. If you've been watching it the whole way through. So once we get out of Strom Ferry, I will just recap the different legs that we've done. This is leg 17, by the way. So we've done it in quite a few sections. just put a bit of power in as we go up this slight hill. We'll do a couple of flybys as well. I've not forgotten. We will definitely do that. This train should be packed, really, shouldn't it? I don't see many people on board, but it should be packed. What a great time to take the train as well. 7:10 in the morning. Be in Inverness for 10 o'clock. See this early morning light like this in the Highlands. Just it must be one of the best time of day to experience this part of the world. Goes without saying as well that I hope one or more of these Highland routes with the 37 actually comes to TSW at some point. We've got such a big sort of Scottish catalogue building up in TSW. It would be criminal if we didn't add one of these Highland routes. Just my opinion. Not you know what I mean. Not criminal. No one's going to be in court over it. I guess what I'm saying is, I think it'd be a very popular route. Right, here is the platform. You can see just underneath this this bridge. So let's bring the speed down a little bit. And as usual, we'll try and get as much of the train in as we can. I want to stop here actually because this is an unused area of the platform, which has just thrown me completely. Hopefully that doesn't show us an overshoot. But nobody's getting out on this this front coach, that's for certain, because they're fenced off. I wonder why they're not using this half. Let's check the schedule. That's probably counted as a miss. Oh, Plockton was a miss. We must have been so late. We got the little X's next to each one. Oh, so that's a shame. Right away, mate. Next stop is Strathcarron. Unless a message tells you to stop at Attadale, you're due at Strathcarron at 7:52. It's like I said at the beginning. We're not doing it for points. We're not doing it for ticks in boxes. We're just purely enjoying it. Via Attadale West in 4.7 miles. To 25 out of the station. Yeah, so going back to the legs we've done, just to recap. First of all, the British Ace took us on the Cornish main line, Penzance to Plymouth. Then he went Plymouth to Exeter in leg 2, Exeter to Reading, and then Megasim was taken over from there. Went Reading to London Paddington in TSW. And from there, Neil TV8 took us between Paddington and Harrow on the Bakerloo line in TSW. Richie Rail came in and he went Harrow to Milton Keynes on TSW West Coast Mainline South. Then we were back in TS Classic, again West Coast Mainline South. And that was Richie again. Richie went Milton Keynes to Birmingham New Street. And then I took over. No, I didn't. I didn't take over. Richie did the next one. That was leg 8, of course. And he went from Birmingham New Street on the TSW Cross City line to Lichfield Trent Valley. And that's when I took over, because I took you on leg 9. That was the first one that I did. That was in the class 325. We took the mail between Lichfield Trent Valley and Stafford, which was a good one. Quite enjoyed running a 325 again. Then I also took you in leg 10 on the West Coast Main Line missing link between Stafford and Preston. That was in the Les Ross class 86. Train Simulator Driver took you in TSW Preston to Carlisle in the Scotsman. And then I was back between Carlisle and Glasgow in the Sleeper on the West Coast Main Line North. That was leg 12. Then we had a bonus where Neil TV8 took us around the TSW Cathcart Circle, which was quite nice. Joe was back, British Ace, and in TS for the Glasgow Subway, St Enoch to Buchanan Street. Then it was on to the suburban Glasgow Northwest, Queen Street High Level to Helensburgh Upper. That was British Ace as well. Then, of course, Train Simulator Driver went Helensburgh Upper to Fort William, and then he went Fort William to Mallaig, and then here we are going the Kyle Of Lochalsh all the way to Inverness in leg 17 back in TS Classic. So a lot of mileage there, a lot of different trains you've been able to see as well as part of it. Very nice trip indeed. Show a little bit more of the exterior. Very beautiful route. I sound like a stuck record, don't I? So we should do a flyby. So let's do that, shall we? So if I go into the 8 camera and let's go here, shall we? We'll go on this side, and in fact, let's just go the other side of the fence. And we'll wait for the 37 to come around the mountain, as it were. Here it comes. You cannot beat it. Still got a couple of miles to go till they go via. Well, it's 1986. We got a little ashtray there for the driver. In this one. There's that speed creeping up. So yeah, first part of this route, pretty slow, picks up in part 2 speed-wise. We get to go that little bit faster. This first part is so windy, which is probably why. So many curves in this section. The road traffic, though, isn't going much faster than we are, so there's the thing. Imagine this road on the right would be sort of 60 miles per hour in real life, just at a guess. So they're obviously not doing that in the sim. They're probably all admiring the 37. I mean, you'd be hard pushed to be driving like this and not look over to the left and say, "Oh, look at that. Why are you in this car when we go beyond that?" Right, 1.7 to the go via or ETA the 752. So there you go again, you see the speed has just dropped down the hill just very slightly. Takes us up over the 25 again. Follows the coastline, doesn't it? Pretty much. Is this the coastline, or is this a lock down the side of me? I'm not quite sure if it's the coast. Let me just save it, as we always do. Because there's mountains on that side, so I'm not quite sure what this body of water actually is on this side. Again, if you know, drop it in the comments. Have we got anybody who lives in this area? That'd be interesting. Just over a mile. So, about to tunnel our way through the edge of this hill. We're not tunneling through, but it's a big structure that obviously stops the hillside coming down onto the track and the road. Attadale West has just appeared on the hood. As the speed increases to 35, we won't get up to 35 because we may be stopping. Just have to see if the guard gives us a signal to stop. I can't actually remember if we are stopping. We'll just wait and see. It's been some time since we peeked at the schedule. I'm trying not to, if possible. I wonder how many times in winter the trains do get cancelled along here. I wonder how bad does the weather get? I imagine it can get pretty grim, to be honest. There's no, there's no problems in this type of weather in June, for example. But I bet it can get a bit interesting. Let's say. Right, we're approaching the Go Via. Are we going to need to stop? You can see the station just ahead. You see the BR sign there, the red sign. Please stop. We're booked at 7:51, so there you are. We're slightly late still. It's alright. A couple of minutes won't hurt anybody. Now this is a short platform, this one. Let's see what we can do. It can be a bit particular sometimes. Right, it's letting us do it. I presume there's some rule maybe with a short platform that if anybody is getting off at a certain station, they need to be in the front coach or the rear coach or, something like that. You would need to know up front, wouldn't you? If you've got bags and things, you don't want to be running down the train. Right away, mate. Next stop, Strathcarron, 7:57. All right, let's do it. That's in 2.3 miles. So we can get up to the heady heights of 35, which is our highest speed so far on the route to this point. So let's make sure we use all that speed as well. Help try and keep us on track a little bit. By the way, if you're new to my channel and you've discovered it as part of this Ambassadors run that we're doing between Penzance and Inverness, welcome, first of all. Thank you for watching. And if you want to subscribe, I will be very pleased. There's lots of simulator content, not just trains. We got planes, trucks, buses, you name it. It's probably on there somewhere. So whilst you're here, do have a look around, see if there's anything there you enjoy. And yeah, once again, thank you for watching. Thank you for watching, everybody, on this trip. And just on that, we do live stream most Monday nights. So if you want to pop in live, because this isn't live, if you want to pop in live, then you'll find us on Monday nights generally. normally with TSW or TS Classic, but there's no hard and fast rule. We do also get early access to TSW content on the channel as well, so 24 hours before the public release I'm able to show you the new TSW content as well as an ambassador, so thank you to Dovetail for that. So if you want to have a look at the upcoming TSW releases a little bit earlier to help you decide whether you want to pick it up or not, that's the place to go. So keep your eye out for that. And Strathcarron is coming up in 3/4 of a mile. And we're definitely stopping at this one. So we've got a 15 coming up into the station, so let's get the speed reduced ready for that. Got the flashing yellow light, which will tell us that the points are set for us, so there's a passing place in this station, I expect. Once we get to the station as well, we'll clear the insects off the windscreen. That's something that's an extra, which is actually quite nice for realism, that comes with the AP stuff. You can see you get the insect debris, let's call it, on the windscreen, which you can clean off with the windscreen wiper. So we're going to do that in a sec. Come across this crossing. Into Strathcarron. You can see just ahead of us there is the token board, so we need to make sure we've got the token. So it'll, in this scenario, it'll probably give us the instruction that we've got the token so that we can continue with it being a single track. Here we go. Right, let's get the doors open. So if we go back in, we will just clear these insects off there. There we go. Nice and clean again now, at least for a few minutes. Wait for everyone to get on board. Token and permission to proceed to Achnasheen granted. Book time at Achnasheen is 8:27 to 29. You will cross service 2 Hotel 81. There, so there we go. Achnasheen will be our halfway point. It is in 18 miles, so we have a bit of a decent run now. We can get up to 40 as well once we're outside the station. So just wait for the brakes to release. So look outside. Can't stop looking at this thing. It's great. It looks so good. In this setting as well. It's perfect in this setting. There are no passengers on board wishing to leave at Achnasheen. unless a message appears, you have to pass straight through. Okay. Got you. Right, we're at the 40, so we're going to open it up. There we go. At least now we get to go a little bit faster for this 18 miles. Quite a big stretch to cover. You can just see how up and down it really is. You see it on the hood, but you can see it from outside. This view, you can see the track where it rises and falls. Right, let's get a flyby, shall we? And we just happen to have a crossing, which is quite a nice opportunity. Forgive the noise. I hear barriers, but I don't see any. There they go again. Straight into an overspeed, but that's alright. So I will quickly flick the map up because we've not had the map up yet. Just to show you, that's where we are. We're at the 0710. So you can see we've come from this end where the Kyle Of Lochalsh is, and we've still got to go all the way down to Inverness, which is here. I think if we show the task, this is Achnasheen where we're going to in this. So you can see it's about halfway. It's about halfway. I thought it was a good point to split the video. Part 2 will be coming up straight after this, so you haven't got any time to wait at all. But for recording and uploading purposes, it's easier to do it in two halves, to be honest. Right, we've got quite a hill. Must be a crossing up here somewhere, I assume. Like just briefly as well, we've come away from the water. We've been following the water along the whole way so far to this point. I suspect it might be down here in this valley. The flies are back on the windscreen, by the way. Up here, so we'll clear those off. There we go. 15 miles to Achnasheen. We'll just do a quick save as we go, just to avoid any potential problems. But there's more water, look. There's water everywhere. What a nice scene, though. It's a lovely scene. We're going to cross the road right here. Fortunately, that one has got barriers, because that's the main road. This section in particular is quite up and down. No sooner is it telling me I'm speeding that I'm actually going quite slow again. And you don't notice as well. You don't always see it coming. You know, if you're not looking at the hood, it throws you a little bit. We're going to be 2 minutes late at the moment into Achnasheen. Let's have a quick look at the Steam page, because it gives some history. I'm gonna quote directly from the Steam page, just in case you don't know anything about this particular route at all. Just manage that speed a little bit. It says the early 1860s saw born the Inverness and Russia Railway as the newfound company stretched rails from the capital of the Highlands to Dingwall in 1862 and later to Invergordon the following year. While officially considered a section of the 4 North Line, the line from Inverness to Dingwall is also known as part of the Kyle Of Lochalsh, as it is the latter station of this where we meet our next railway company. Approved in 1868, the Dingwall and Skye Railway was set to construct a branch from Dingwall connecting Skye to Inverness. Construction straddled decades and services started in 1870. Although the Dingwall and Skye had not had the chance to complete the line, the logical path for the line was brought to an abrupt end during construction. Landowners did not approve of the line, passing through Strath Pether, a place of populace along the route, and so a costly diversion was constructed. So costly, the Dingwall and Skye could not afford to build the full line. The final section, which would see the new line reach its intended terminus of the Kyle Of Lochalsh, where passengers could board a ferry for the short trip to Skye, would not be built until the Highland Railway absorbed the likes of the Inverness and Russia and the Dingwall and Skye railways. The final part of the line, built as the Kyle Of Lochalsh extension, was opened in the late 1890s and proved very expensive to become a reality. The extension alone was, at that time, the most expensive per mile in Britain. That's interesting, isn't it? It says, despite being fully complete before the turn of the century, many of the plans for the line never came to fruition. Ferry connections were poor, freight was lost to the more suitable West Highland Railway, and the line has dodged closure since the 1960s. Narrowly avoiding the Beeching Axe as the only connection people had with the world. Wow, the only connection people had with the world. The mind boggles, doesn't it, to think of that. The 1970s weren't much better for the line, but nonetheless it has survived. The saving grace being an oil rig, of all things. If the Kyle Of Lochalsh could do anything, it could provide for that utilising freight sidings at Achnasheen Yard. One thing the Kyle Of Lochalsh has got, which very few railways can honestly uphold, is undeniably stunning views from end to end. I think we'll agree with that, looking at this run today. There's nothing quite like passing through the base of the Highlands with beautiful rivers and lochs around every turn. Its views and low speed running make for a popular attraction and will ensure the line stays among the highest regarded in all of Europe. That's a nice little story, isn't it? I imagine it was very expensive to build. I mean, it's a long route going through some sort of unforgiving countryside, really. Back in the days as well, where you didn't have all the heavy machinery to do the digging, it'll have all been done by hand. Some feat, isn't it, really? Right, 11 miles to go to Achnasheen. Let's just clear the windscreen. Didn't realise we had the instrument dimmer there all the time. I can turn that up. Better. I like the little touches on these AP packs that you get, even down to something simple like this little antenna on the front, the way it quivers side to side with the movement of the loco. Just little touches like that, you know. I mean, the weathering on the inside of these older locos as well is always great. You know what I mean? Not everything has to be really shiny, does it? It's quite believable as you look around. Look how dirty the cab is. Very well done. Right, how are we doing? We've got just over 9 miles till we reach Achnasheen now. So we should be there 15 minutes. 14 minutes. Let's make sure up this hill we keep to speed. Really having to put the power in now to get up this one. Let's put you there. Can you smell the fumes? Can you smell that diesel? Let's have a look at it here. It's very quiet in the countryside until this thing thunders through. Just add to the power as it comes. But as I said, straight after this part at Achnasheen, we'll come back with part 2, which will give us the full run down into Inverness on the final leg, the final part of the final leg, and it'll complete the journey all the way up from Penzance that we started a couple of days ago. So you won't have long to wait. It will roll in straight after this part. So do stick around for that. There'll be tea and cakes at Inverness Station to celebrate once we get there. Well, I'll be having tea and cakes. I don't know about you lot. It's worth celebrating. Right, we've got 6 3/4 miles till we get to our destination. Shout out, by the way, to... I don't remember who the creator was, but on the Train Sim community webpage, you can download these liveries. These are all the Kyle line liveries, so these did run on this line. And there's various different ones. So, I'm going to actually tell you, I'm going to look now, whilst we're talking, who has uploaded this. I'm going to search for it, because they deserve the credit. If I can find it live. Yes, here we go. So, yeah, you can download all these liveries, and it is by... I'll find it in a minute. Let me just put the speed in. Let's just maintain as we're going. JL Chauvin. So thank you to JL Chauvin for these liveries. And you can get 37011, 37017, 37025, 37033, 37035, 37070, 37112, and this one 37114, and they're all in different liveries. Large logo, BR blue. There is some with Highland, the West Highland decal, which you can see on there. There's ones with large logo paint, but small numbers and logo. There's all different ones, but they reflect the 37s that ran up and down this line. So this is one of those. 37114, the Dunrobin Castle. And very nice it looks too, I must say. And I kept swapping this in and out to see which one I preferred the most. I decided on this one because this is the only one I think that's got a nameplate. Big thank you as well to Tom, who you know from Train Sim TV and Just Trains. He helped me set up the scenario to swap the stock in and out. Something that I'm vaguely familiar with it, but I'm not a super expert with it. He gave me a few tips over Discord on that, so thank you to Tom for that. And yeah, a thoroughly enjoyable scenario. And just like that, we're less than 5 miles to Achnasheen. So we'll pop back inside because we're speeding just a little bit. This section of line here is very remote, isn't it? If you look around, you've got nothing either side of you but open hills. I bet when the snow falls on this section, it's a bit seat of your pants sometimes coming over here. There is a road over there, look, as well, to keep you company. As we go over the rise of another hill in the route. That is the 4 key. I didn't know about that sort of flyby. That's quite interesting. Right, we can start getting ready very soon for our stop. Just add some brake as we go down this hill. Right, we got just over 1.5 miles now. And then we'll be back for part 2. Now it did say we would meet another service in this station, which will be quite nice. We'll just see if we spot one of those liveries that I just mentioned going the opposite way. We should. And we're not going to be too late, so hopefully he's not been waiting for us too long. Achnasheen's coming into view now on the hood. So I'll put a little bit of brake in. Just acknowledge that. Drop down into the station. A few signs of habitation now. We've not seen any buildings for a while. I presume Achnasheen is just a small village, perhaps. There indeed is the other service in the opposite platform. We'll put a little bit more brake in. Make sure we don't come to a complete stop. And we'll have a look at the chap next to us before we go in the opposite platform. Got the little Highland Terrier on the side. 37011. Lovely. Right, we'll just go past the platform just slightly. So I'm going to open the doors, and then what I'm going to do is save it, where we'll continue in part 2. So there we go. That's the first stage of our trip between the Kyle Of Lochalsh and Inverness. Part 2 is coming up straight after this, so do click on that and watch us as we get into Inverness and complete the whole ambassador journey that we took from Penzance. Exciting times. We'll be back to continue this. We will, of course, be continuing this exact service. It's given us permission to go. We'll be in 37114 once again. Please do join me. Hope you've enjoyed this first section. Thanks again, and I'll see you very soon for part 2. All the best.